Yeah, man.
I like
This
it.
that is the Two Dumb remix. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, welcome. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. This is episode 452. Good morning.
Whoa.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to you. Monday Night Football last night. Chicago Bears get the upset over the Minnesota Vikings, 12-10.
That was an
Where do they
offensive
find? Yeah, where they find these primetime games is beyond me. I could understand all the Jets games because they were expecting Aaron Rodgers, but
yeah,
that didn't play out.
but these ones
But the Bears and the Viking, I mean,
I,
yeah, all
I
right.
I don't get it at all, even with you know, if they would have, Justin Jefferson and um the quarterback, his name's
Yeah,
already escaping my mind. That tells you, you
Cousins.
know, Kirk Cousins.
And
Yeah, I
they're still
don't see.
they're still a very under
Yeah,
nobody wants to watch the
underwhelming team.
Vikings.
Yeah, and the only other really good player that anyone knows about is Daniel Hunter. Outside of those three, but that's not enough to make me tune in.
And I did find out, Mike,
Uh-huh.
I got a big scoop in that whole area because I watched the game last night and I got to see it
Hmm.
firsthand and see the guy. Daniil is how we pronounce his name. Mr. Hunter is not Daniel. It's not Danielle.
Uh-huh.
It's Daniil.
Daniel, I
Daniil.
like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I'm going to start calling you Daniil.
You know what? I'll take it.
Bears win this game 12-10. Vikings drop to 6-6. The Bears are a lowly 4-8. Josh Dobbs 185 yards, a touchdown, and 4 interceptions. He had as many interceptions as KP had this whole season last night against the Bears defense. Um,
I think the wheels have fallen off.
Off the
Yeah,
Josh Dobbs mobile.
yeah.
The
Nothing
element
wrong
of
with what he
surprise
is.
is gone.
Yeah, he's Charlie Batch. It's what he is.
Yeah,
He's that backup quarterback that will win you a game or two here and there,
right.
play on the adrenaline. Once that's gone, kind of falls back to what he is. That's no knock against him.
No, I
I
agree
think
with
he'd
you.
be a great number two, man. If I
I agree. Plus, it's fun to go number two.
number two.
Um, so yeah, that's the Monday Night Football game. I don't know where Derpy is. I invited him on.
I
What did he pop in?
No, he did not pop in. I was about to say, yeah, I'm surprised he showed up Monday because he knew we were going to make fun of Ohio State, and
Right.
maybe he didn't know we were going to make fun of Ohio State, and then he's like, he came on, we made fun of him. Now he doesn't want to come back on
Well,
for a
I do
day.
have to say this. I mean, we were very mild if we did make fun of them. We didn't really have much time to make fun. I had planned to make more fun. I apologize to anybody that was
Yeah,
expecting us to make more fun of Ohio State. We didn't get to do that because, of course, there was a lot. There was so much to talk about yesterday, Mike. I didn't even get it all into one show. There's still
I
a
know.
handful of things that I'm able to bleed over until
I
today.
know. I had like talking points ready. I figured I knew what you're going to talk about. I was scouring the internet. I was scouring all the news information I can get to be prepared for the show, and then you didn't even talk about half of it.
No, we didn't, Mike.
Mm-mm.
Just to get the information, just to get the basic information out, it took us an hour.
Yeah.
And that was being we weren't wasting no time. We weren't playing around here.
No, we were not, man. We were on point yesterday. We were just all over everything yesterday.
And he's even sending me messages this morning, like talking points to talk about, and that's
And
what
then he
really
no shows.
surprises me. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. About an hour ago, he sends me these pictures.
Hmm.
One's of Hines Ward and one's of Debo.
Yeah.
Of course, James Harrison being semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. Figured this is something he might want to talk about. I put
Yeah.
it in my notes, and
Yeah.
where's
And then
Derpy?
yeah, I know that was like the big news of the day is the semifinalist.
Derpy.
And
So
then he's nowhere to be found.
he's no, you know,
He would be a great producer
he'd be a great
of,
diva.
of like a researcher. Like here, talk about this. And
Yeah,
then,
Hollywood Derpy. Um,
oh,
so I'm hesitant. I don't know if he's going to come popping in. I do want to make the announcement on these picks, but I don't know if I should jump into it because once you know what will happen.
yeah,
I'll jump into it. We'll be a whole segment. We'll talk about it. We'll go through everything, and then he'll
yeah.
come on.
And he'll come on and want to talk about the picks, and
Yeah, and then I'll have to go over everything again, and see ya. He's really screwing me here.
He
He's really
is. He
screwing
is.
Derpy. You're screwing me.
Derpy's screwing the pooch right now. Is what's happening here.
Now,
He's killing me.
let me start with this question, Mike.
All right.
Cliff Kingsbury is a name that I keep seeing popping up.
Yes.
Cliff Kingsbury. Now he was what, Arizona?
Arizona head coach.
Now tell me a little bit about him. Do you like him? Is he a possibility? You know, and
I wouldn't mind him as a coordinator. He had some pretty good offenses. Um, when he was head coach in Arizona, they had some pretty good records, but they collapsed in the second half, collapsed in the playoffs. But you know what?
but they are
Offensive
Arizona.
coordinator, yeah, Arizona. Him and Kyler Murray had a pretty good run there for a couple years where they were putting up some numbers. James Conner went there and exploded, like 13 rushing touchdowns that year or some crazy number like that for him. They were looking like a competent offense, and this kind of fell apart. Now, he doesn't have to come here and be a head coach. Come here and be an offensive coordinator. I wouldn't be against it. I just want to know, is he back in the country? Because I remember when he got fired or he resigned, I think he got fired. He just left the country. He's like, I'm going to the Philippines. He's like, I'm out.
He went Dave Chappelle and he just left the country.
He just
started
left.
Smoking weed.
Yeah, and maybe he could come back and new enlightened, new philosophy on offense. That's what they're gonna have to do. I want them to kick tires on guys that were not necessarily like head coaches because we need the successor for Mike Tomlin. We need to get him out of here. People who were good coordinators, not or bad head coaches. I wouldn't mind them being here because you figured out what level they're going to be. Not everyone's made to be a head coach. If you're made to be a great coordinator, hell yeah, him, Frank Reich. We saw Frank Reich's not going to be he's not going to be a head coach again ever. And I think he would be a fine offensive coordinator. And there's coaches out there now like Kevin Stefanski. His name's being banted about if he gets fired in Cleveland. Bring him here. Just let him just run the offense.
I got to say, that would be the stupidest thing Cleveland would ever do if they would fire that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I think he would. This stupid lighting in my studio is going to be the death of me. But I wouldn't he wouldn't be up on my priority list. But if they would let him go, I wouldn't mind him coming here running the offense.
The thing about Kevin Stefanski, you go on and on just about how dumb this organization is up in Cleveland, and how when they finally get something that seems somewhat solid and you could build off of, they look for the home run in Cleveland. This is why they're never any good.
Yeah,
they bring all these guys. They bring Odell Beckham. They do this. They do that. And then when it doesn't work, they abort and abandon ship. And everybody. And if they would get rid of this guy, who's actually making them a competitive team here, and this is the closest they've come since 1988 to where they could finish higher than the Steelers, which still there's a lot of season left. But everything that they're able to accomplish, they haven't been able to accomplish in a long time.
They haven't. No.
Even back to the 2002 when they made the playoffs, and this team is probably in better shape than it's been since they've been back since 1999.
Yeah,
and it is a very Cleveland Brown thing to do for them to get rid of this guy. I wouldn't be surprised, but you know what? It's the smartest thing that they could possibly do is keep this guy at least for a while.
Yeah,
and and in my opinion, by getting rid of Baker Mayfield, that's one of them oopsies. You get a guy that's a quality quarterback. And he still has a lot of upside. I don't care what anybody says. Given the right situation and the right teams around him, Baker Mayfield's a pretty damn good quarterback in this league. The Browns throw him right out the window. Where are they at? They're out here throwing money at a guy that doesn't even play for them.
Yeah.
Come on, that would be the most Cleveland Brown move that they could possibly make.
Yeah,
getting rid of this head coach.
I would be for it. Like I said, he wouldn't be up on my high priority list, but I wouldn't be against it. He's just one of the names I heard bantied about on the radio today. I'm like, I could see it, but I wouldn't go out of my way for it. Same thing with Kingsbury. Talk to him. Gauge his interest level. It'd be like, just hey, you're going to just be a coordinator. You're not the head coach and waiting in case the rails fall off. The team goes off the rails. You're just going to be an offensive coordinator, and if you're going to use this as a stepping stone to get back into coaching, that's okay. Because I think that's like some of these coaches that are going to get fired. It was I think Adam Schefter said that 7 to 10 coaches could be fired this year. Head coaches, and a couple of them go throughout the league. There's a lot of good coaches. They're good offensive coaches, but they're bad head coaches. So I would like to see the Rooneys, go that route. Pick someone who failed as a head coach because they're going to have something to play for. They're going to want to prove themselves. You know what? It was just a bad bad thing. Here's take a look at my offense again. Get your name back out there.
Get a guy that was a head coach. I think is a if you're pulling for a coordinator like we are, and you're talking about names like Kingsbury and Reich
Frank Reich,
and
his name's coming up.
Stefanski. I mean, they got like excuse me, about this idea is these guys coming in that were head coaches. Not only could they be good offensive coordinators because that's probably what they are better at being is that particular style of coach, but then that you have a guy that knows what it takes to be a head coach. He could work from a different angle as an offensive coordinator opposed to coming in who doesn't know those steps and what it is to be a head coach. So these guys could, I think that you're right. It could certainly work, and having that head coach on your resume, I think could go a long way.
Yeah, me too. And like you were saying, the way they would approach the game is going to be different than just a coordinator because they're going to be
they see it from a different angle.
Yeah, they're going to have that whole global view of it. Yeah, they're just in charge of this one thing, but they're going to have that, like I said, the global view of like what are we going to do on offense? How's that going to affect what we do on special teams and the defense?
Yeah,
and I think they would have a better understanding of score and situation.
I agree. I like the idea. I mean, better than if you're going to go out and pick up offensive coordinator from wherever. I like the idea of having somebody that has that in their back pocket. That's a hell of a that's a hell of a thing to have on your resume, a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
Mike, a couple things that we do want to talk about. I do want to mention that the Steelers. Do you want me to start on offense or defense?
Let's go with the offense. I'm in a good mood right now, so let's start with the offense.
All right, the offense. Let's see. This is the most interesting, intriguing part of what just happened this past week to me with what the Steelers were finally able to accomplish with this offense. Big Ben threw for 311 yards of the Steelers. No,
you said Big Ben.
I meant Big Ben.
Oh.
Big Ben threw for 311 yards of the Steelers, 411 yards in a 26-21 win over Denver. That was the last time, Mike, before 58 games, including the entire tenure of Matt Canada, passed without another 400-yard game. That, Mike, was in November 20th, 2020. Was the last time the Steelers offense had anything that resembled a normal offense, Mike.
But
it's going into 2024, man.
But they've won what? How many of their 15 out of the last 20 or something like that?
We won a lot of games. Don't get me wrong.
We've won a lot of games. So
we won a lot of games.
We won a lot of games. That's like these quarterbacks. Oh man, he threw for 500 yards.
Yeah.
But did they win?
Right.
Yeah, so I get it though. You're moving the ball that much that you have a better chance of scoring, and you feel more confident that hey, if we get behind, we can catch up because we're moving the ball. But that is a long stretch.
17 games in a season, and it's only been 17 for 2 years. So I mean, there's less than that prior to 58 games, Mike. November of 2020.
Ooh.
We're going into a new election year. Here in a month. That was the last election year. Biden's whole term, we haven't thrown a 400-yard game. I mean, that's insane. Donald Trump was still in office the last time this happened.
This is wild.
It is wild.
That was like what? Hey, Ben had. He only had Ben for one good elbow. Okay, or 1 year with a good elbow. Excuse me.
That's something. It's something, man. You don't see things happen to these other teams around the league that happen to the Steelers. I don't get it, whether it's good or whether it's bad. There's always a story that comes with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, but somehow we were winning through the time. We
were winning enough.
We didn't win enough, but we were
regular season good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over the past 10 years or so, we're regular season.
Hey,
good.
Man, that puts butts in the seats and money in the owner's pocket.
And that puts you ahead of a lot of teams.
Well, yeah.
Let's see what else.
What else do we got?
Kenny Pickett on third downs versus the Bengals, Mike. This is pretty impressive, something to hang on to. On third downs, KP was 10 for 14 for 165 yards, 2 big-time throws, and a 110.7 passer rating.
Yeah.
These are encouraging numbers to see from our young quarterback at this point. Yeah. These are what you want to see. Third down, 165 yards on third down alone.
That's we were having so much trouble with third downs. Keeping the offense on the field.
Yeah.
Give that defense a rest because they need it. you know, 'cause you need them to close out the games.
Absolutely, man. A lot of things looks like they're starting to come together for multiple reasons. I think again, it is because of the schedule. We're going to start seeing this team play
Yeah.
better over these next 5, 6 games than they did over the last 10 games. By nature, by the nature of the schedule, you're going to see that. You're going to see that because possibly because of the change of the coaching. You're going to see that possibly, for a handful of reasons, or I believe things are going to get
Yeah.
better. They're not going to be fantastic. We're not going to be having Kansas City type offensive type of games,
No.
but I see these next 6 games going well for the Steelers. As we mentioned yesterday, there's six games left. 3 of them are at home, 3 of them are away. I favor the ones that are at home. They are who are they? The Cardinals, the Patriots, and the Bengals. I
Yeah.
think that we should win these games. The road games scare me a little bit more.
Mm.
Indianapolis, Seattle,
Seattle and
and
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Now, for one, Baltimore, I think, is a 50-50 anyway. You slice it, no matter
Yeah.
where you play. Either team is going to win 13-10. Indianapolis, as you said yesterday, are 2-7 at home. That's encouraging.
That's encouraging, but the way they've been playing though overall,
They're like us.
they're like us. Yeah.
There's no real tempo, and they find a way to win games sometime. And it's they're scary, and also Seattle's scary in the same reason. You just don't know what you're going to get. One thing I was thinking about Seattle, you have to deal with Metcalf, you have to deal with Lockett and
Mm-hmm.
Najigba. They have a nice set of
Yeah.
receivers. I know that Geno Smith isn't 100% healthy, which if they could carry that for 5 weeks, we'll take it. But chances
Right.
are 5 weeks from now he's going to be fine.
Gino,
And
take some time off, buddy.
in Seattle, I mean, they're
They're
semi
good.
good. They got a good
Yeah.
defense. They got Wagner. I mean, there's some things they have going on over there. So they scare me on the road across the country in front of the 12th man.
Yeah.
I think that
But
that game is probably the X factor of the six. That game would be the one that scares me the most.
we've actually done well this year, crossing over into the West Coast.
We've done great on the West Coast. You're right,
Yeah.
which is
Which is
abnormal.
abnormal for the Steelers, but this is the year of abnormal, being abnormal for the Steelers. It's
It is.
working for us. So I, I'm I'm getting less and less worried with that game, but that's gonna be the furthest west we've played.
Well, there ain't no more west you could go. What do we play? Hawaii next,
We can go to Australia,
or Russia?
go to Russia.
Um,
Yeah.
on the ground, the Steelers have rushed for 543 yards over the last 3 weeks. Get this, guys.
Yep.
The Steelers rushed for 543 yards over the last 3 weeks. This is the most rushing yards by Pittsburgh produced in a 3-game span in over 16 years.
Ooh.
The last time that this feat was done, this 543 yards over a 3-week period, was weeks 1 through 3 in 2007.
Oh my God.
2007, Mike, was the last time the Steelers ran as well as they did over the past 3 weeks.
Who was rushing then? My God.
That might have been Willie Parker.
Was that Fast Willie era? I can't remember.
Who? Yeah, I think so, because he played in Super Bowl 40 with Bettis, and then when Bettis left, it was Willie for a few years. So that would have fell into that time frame. I think that would have been Willie Parker.
2007.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Fast Willie Parker. He
Weeks
ran for
1 through 3.
Yeah, he ran for 1,300 yards that year. Only 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some Kenny Pickett type numbers.
Exactly.
We call them head scratchers. These are numbers that you just can't explain.
Yeah.
1,300 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, what Najee Davenport was his backup.
I don't know. Was Najee that late?
2007. Yeah, he had 5 touchdowns that year for.
Oh, because they had him
500.
returning kickoffs. I remember they brought him from Green Bay. I thought, this guy's so
Yeah.
slow. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But, so there you have it, guys. The last time the Steelers ran as well as 543 yards, which they've rushed over the past 3 games, has been week 1 through 3 of 2007. That is 16 years ago.
That's insane. You figure like that year we had, when we had Lev Bell, when he was, he put up crazy numbers every week, but he was like run and receiving numbers too, so it kind of skews his yardage total.
I mean, that's what it is when you have that Hall of Fame quarterback. You're going to pass more naturally because your quarterback can pass a lot better than 98% of the quarterbacks in the league. Why run the ball a lot when you have a guy that could gain 4,000 years, 4,000 yards a season?
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. We're in that position where it's necessary. So to see these numbers coming right now is a very good thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
In that time frame as well, Jaylen Warren is number 1 in rushing, and Najee is number 5 in rushing.
Yes.
I didn't know if you had that jotted down there because I saw that same stat too, and I just wanted to remember that. And that's insane because Najee, it feels like he hasn't been getting the yardage recently, but you look at the stats, he's getting the yards.
I got a couple more numbers on Najee. Najee's explosive runs.
Yes.
This isn't diarrhea like with when you're talking about Mike's explosive runs. These are Najee's explosive runs.
You
Get
can't
this,
make fun of
guys.
Derpy. You got to make fun of me. That's messed up.
Well, Derpy's not here. I
Well,
would have
that's
made
the
fun of him
perfect
if he
time.
was
That's the
here.
perfect time to go after him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Najee's explosive runs. He's get this. He has 11 right now. He has 11 15 plus yard runs,
That's
which is
insane.
tied for the league lead. Also, he has seven 20 plus yard runs, which is also tied for the league. Who would
Who
Mike?
would have thought?
If I wouldn't have read this,
Yeah.
I would have never guessed. I know I understand, of course, that this team is running better, but these numbers 11 15 plus yard runs tied for the league lead, and 20 plus yard runs tied for the league. Najee Harris, I'm talking about, not Jalen Warren, not the guy that you see breaking off these big runs.
Yeah.
So, are things in Pittsburgh really as bad as they're being made out to be, Mike?
That, not. Mm.
Yeah, we went top
Yes
near
and
Super
no.
Bowl teams. I
Yes,
understand that that's
I'm
what
gonna
people
say
want.
yes and no.
Right.
Two things can be true at the same time. They have like great little like stats like this. We're running well. Najee's busting off these big long runs, but we're just not scoring. If we were scoring,
We're kind of doing,
people be talking about this offense a little in a better light.
if you think
Like,
about it, we're kind of doing everything well except for scoring.
yeah. Yeah, it's like the inverse of our defense. Defense is giving up yardage left and right, but not giving up points.
The only thing that really matters is the only thing that we're not able to do.
We can't score. We
It's
can't score to save
unbelievable.
us our life.
It's unbelievable. And the thing is, when you're good, you see this happening to other teams, and you're like,
Mhm.
look at this, look at these
Yeah,
guys. And when it's happening, you just can't, you're sitting there scratching your head. And when it's happening to other teams, you're like, why don't they just fix it? We're
yeah.
good. We know how to fix it. We know what we're doing. Why don't they
We
just fix it?
yeah.
And here we
We
are. We're
can't.
in that position. I have no idea. I'm scratching my head. We're doing everything right. Everything is
Yeah.
working right now except for getting points on the board.
Well, it like you said, man, our schedule is gonna ease up big time coming up, and this is like the same time last year when we saw the offense come to life. Late in the year, we have all the heavy hitters out of the way, and it wouldn't surprise me if we start putting up more and more points as we go on. And we're seeing the way the play calling, I think still needs cleaned up. There were still
Oh
some
yeah.
sequences that they were doing and plays that they were doing. It reminded you of Canada calling the plays, but I think that Faulkner and Sullivan are going to clean that up. They look willing to change, and the offense is feeding off of that new energy. And it wouldn't surprise me if we start putting up. I know it's going to sound crazy. 20, 21, 22, 23, maybe even 24 points a game.
Yeah.
A couple of these games, and that's more than enough to win with the defense that we have and the teams we're going up against.
That is going to be what we're going to be. That's what we're going to have to figure out how to do because you're not going to have this defense forever. You're going to start losing guys after the season. So you have to go with what works for you, and this is what's going to work for us right now. And we have to really grab a hold of it and see what we can figure out because again we're not a, and despite what many people are saying around this city, we're not a bad football team. I've been saying that all along. We're not a bad football team. We're not a lucky football team. We're doing the same thing we've done for 2 seasons, and guess what, we have a pretty decent winning record over the past 2 seasons. We just have to figure out a couple things, a couple very vital things nonetheless.
Yeah,
a couple things we have to figure out to move forward. And we have 6 weeks to work on it. We have 6 games that are doable. This team has to figure out how to get more points on the board. You'd love to see sixes. I'll take threes. Last week I think that there was a couple of plays that we could say that we got robbed of at least 10 points from last week. I know when Jalen fumbled, it was inside the 20, and then also that the play that we should have recalled, Deontay's non-touchdown. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that they would have went and looked at that and that wouldn't have came back a touchdown. So, you take 10 points off the board. It could have been a 26-10 game, and people were singing praises in this city.
yeah.
you add those two plays to the game, that changes a few things. So again, overall, there's more of a tightness we need to have to be a playoff team. We could be a good team. We're good enough to be a good team.
Yeah.
We just have to figure out if we could make those necessary adjustments to become a playoff team.
And that's going to be huge right there. Like you're saying, there's the small little things, and it's looking like it's going to come. The way where the offense is starting to move the ball, especially running the ball, that should only open up that passing game more. And the way Kenny looked to be, yeah, we're going against the worst defense in the league, but the way he was more calm in the pocket, more decisive in throws, I'd like to see him, just hang in the pocket a little bit more because we've seen it in the past. The end of last year, he was hanging in the pocket, taking those big hits when needed. So, he can do it. I just want to see him do it more consistently. Once that happens, I think the offense, for this offense, they're going to explode for a little bit, scoring in the mid 20s a game. And you have the running game there. You have the weapons in the passing game. It's just everyone in that passing game needs to get more consistent. The line with their pass blocking, Kenny with the reads and the throws, the receivers with catching,
Yeah.
it just more and more consistent because, you know, Deontay can make all the catches. George can make all the catches. Fryermuth can make all the catches. They just all need to be more consistent. Kenny can make all the throws. We've seen him make them just more and more consistent. And that's what separates, backups to starters,
Right.
all pros to just starters. So those guys all have that potential.
One thing you got to consider is this as well. Last year, think of it this way: the first, 5, 6, 7, 8 games were a disaster. We were able to rebound, catch ourselves in the second half through the season. This year, I think is going to be very similar because you look at as we mentioned, these next 6 teams on the schedule. This is going to be similar to last year. You have teams that aren't that great. You have teams that we're going to be able to get comfortable. You have teams that we're going to be able to play and gain some confidence in ourselves, opposed to trying to catch our tails all the time. And going into the playoffs, I think, this is going to be a good thing. We're going to be able to get our reps in. We're going to be able to get the guys out on the field. We're going to be able to try different things. And, playing this last 6 games, it feels to me a lot like that last 6 games last year.
Yep.
As we mentioned, before we got behind the 8 ball really early last year, we started 1-3, and we really had to claw and fight just to get to get our head above water and be a 9-8 football team. This year, we started out with a little bit better head on our shoulders. Yes, that 49er game was a disaster. Throw that out the window and play a 16-game season, which is what we did. And now we're on that stretch now where we could really, like I said, take advantage in a lot of ways, not just in ground for playoffs, but in this team preparing to possibly make that first appearance back into the playoffs with confidence, with a little bit of steam, and possibly doing something in the playoffs. I know everyone's going to jump on me. They're going to say, "Oh, this team, he's not the man. He's just the team." I don't listen. It doesn't matter. That stuff is bullshit because, again, look at this team's record. Look at the improvements they made. And again, this is very comparable to me to last season's second half of the year. They need to take advantage. And if they do that, I think, again, this is a good team. This isn't this isn't an elite team. This is a good quarterback. This isn't a Hall of Fame quarterback. So for what we have, this is the kind of things that we have to talk about now. We can't talk about this team the way we have for the past 20 years.
Exactly.
You just can't do that.
Yeah, and that's what people forget. They have to put this team in context is what it is. Say team in transition. When you lose a Hall of Fame quarterback, you look at what's happening to New England.
You want to be New England? Look at them.
Pittsburgh.
Do you want to be New England, Mike?
No, that's what Pittsburgh could be, but Pittsburgh is rebuilding on the fly. They had pieces in place because they were trying to win a Super Bowl with Ben those last couple years. It didn't work out, but you know what? They tried. And then, you go and they brought in Trubisky and they drafted Kenny. So you had 2 options at quarterback. Mitch, didn't really work out. Kenny, we still don't know if he's going to work out or not, but guess what? We're competitive. We were, last year, we finished just above 500, blah, 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 no losing record. That's a good thing. You're being in contention and being able to stay competitive without, the tail end of your Hall of Fame quarterback. And then now the transition, we are finding ways to win games, and we're sitting in the playoff hunt right now. We're doing better now than we have been in the last 4 to 5 years.
Mike, we're a game and a half out of being the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's wild,
It is wild. That's not luck. I mean, come on.
No,
These people that are saying that's crazy to me. And here's another thing you have to consider, Mike. Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins. There are 2 teams that just aren't beating teams with winning records.
Exactly. I was about to say. Yeah.
There are 2 teams that aren't beating teams that are in playoff spots. They're beating teams who are under 500. Guess what? That's not much different than what this Pittsburgh Steelers team is doing. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. They lost a couple of teams that they weren't supposed to win against. How different are these two teams that are considered top, teams that could end up in a Super Bowl by a lot of people's opinions with the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins? I mean, beside this big splash play that they're putting out there that we're not, there's not much difference in the results of what's going on.
Yeah, we beat teams with excuse me, winning
We
records.
beat more teams with winning records than Dallas. I'm pretty sure one of the out
Yeah,
of Miami. We beat
yeah,
a couple already.
yeah. We have, and it's not pretty the way we've beaten them, but we've beaten them.
What do they say, Mike? It's not how.
How
It's
many, baby?
exactly.
Exactly.
And we're right there. We're right there with Dallas, and we're right there with Miami. I mean, these teams are one game
Yeah,
better than the Pittsburgh Steelers, who can't get 400 yards of offense
yeah,
since 2000. And come on, man.
yeah. Like this Miami team, the way they're playing, you remember back, when the Steelers were 11-0, oh, the worst 11-0 team ever. They haven't beaten anyone.
That was very
Like
weird.
that's Miami. That's Dallas.
Yeah,
They have beaten no one.
right,
Dallas
right,
lost.
right.
Dallas lost to Correct? They lost to Arizona.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, they
they
did.
lost to
Didn't
Arizona.
Arizona knock them off from being undefeated or some wild
Yeah,
shit?
Arizona whooped that ass. And if that would have happened to the Steelers, oh, we would never hear the end of it. They lost 28-16. That's one of
That's
their two
right.
wins. That's one of their two wins. How do you
Mm.
yeah, if that would have happened in Pittsburgh, we would never hear the end of it.
That's
Granted,
what you get.
they
That's
did
what you
lose.
get when you're the Yankees. You know
Yeah.
what I
Well,
mean?
here's like
When you're
Cowboys.
the
They
top
beat
dog in the league.
Yeah, the Cowboys have beaten the Giants, the Jets, the Patriots, the Chargers, the Rams, the Giants again, the Panthers, and the Commanders.
Dude, those are all terrible teams.
And then that loss to the Cardinals. Then they had a loss, a 42-10 loss to San Francisco.
Which
Then they had
was
the
worse than the
20
loss that we had to San
yeah,
Francisco.
they had a 28-23 loss to the Eagles. That's a division rival. That game's going to be close, but who have they beaten?
Now that you put it like that, that's come on, geez, people should be
Yeah.
making fun of these
Now,
guys.
now they have Seattle, then the Eagles again, then at Buffalo, at Miami, then the Lions. The Lions are starting to
So
fall
that's
off, and
starting to
then
get
at the
good games. Let's
Commanders.
see how this team
Yeah,
finishes off.
yeah, they have a stretch of 1, 2, 3, like a 4, maybe 5 good games,
That's
and
what
then
I'm
they finish
saying.
off with the Commanders. So
Let's see how those 5 games go.
yeah, that
And we'll talk about them
yeah,
boys.
that's they're like Ohio State. You just you figure you're gonna win 10 games a year.
Right.
Just
Yeah, but
but
as long as you're playing Northwestern and Rutgers, you're gonna be fine.
yeah,
Wait till you
and
play
that's
Michigan, then we'll talk,
yeah. But how the hell do you lose to Arizona and people still take you seriously? You haven't beaten anyone. The two good teams you played, you lost to.
And the biggest choker, one of the bigger chokers in the league is Dak Prescott. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Say, the media tends to talk this guy up constantly. What has he ever done?
No,
What has he ever done?
nothing. He was like Tony Romo, man.
He accomplished
But
nothing.
they have good numbers. He'll win you games, but like those big important games, they don't win. But they're Dallas, man. That's America's team.
Let's hop over to the defensive side of the ball, Mike. We talked about the offense long enough. Pittsburgh's defense, they gave up 25 rushing yards to the Cincinnati Bengals. 25. Here's the thing, the Bengals aren't great. The Bengals are having problems. Again, you're playing an NFL team and you only give up 25 yards. Your defense is doing something right.
That's doing a hell of a job. Pittsburgh forced them to abandon the run. That's how good we were against the run. We forced them to make this lowly quarterback try and pass the ball to win. And outside of like 2 tip passes to Jamar Chase, their passing offense wasn't that potent.
No.
They forced the team to become one-dimensional. That
Joe
is
Mixon had
huge.
16 yards on 8 carries. When Darnell Washington falls forward when he's getting tackled, he gets 16 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is their big dog. This is their running back. This is the guy that produces for the Bengals is Joe Mixon, and he got scraps.
He got nothing. I'm trying to take a look at his season numbers. He's having a pretty good season. 621 yards already, 4 touchdowns. Average is down a little at 3.9, but he's still producing.
Right. Got nothing against his defense.
I'll take it. I'll take it though. When you force a team to quit running, that's how you know you're dominant.
I'm going to give you something else, Mike.
All right.
I'm only because we've been getting along. I think it's because the Steelers are winning, but that's the only explanation I have.
But they've been winning the whole time.
Now I know there's a few guys out there that are pretty, they got really good numbers when it comes down to you're starting to consider your rookies of the years and your on the offense, Stroud, and on the defense. I mean, there's a handful of guys that's done some amazing things. But let's talk about your boy. I want to talk about your boy Joey Porter Jr. for a
Uh-huh.
second. Of course, from Penn State, the rookie that we drafted this season, our starting cornerback, who seems to become our number one cornerback over
Yeah.
the past couple of weeks. Mike, and I'm sure you've seen these on social media, but let me give you some of these
Mm-hmm.
results.
Mm-hmm.
As we used to go through Darrell Revis's Revis Island numbers
Yep.
and what he done to top receivers that he covered. I want to read through some of Mr. Porter Jr.'s numbers thus far this season. Mike, against Puka Nakua, who is a rookie who led the league briefly for a
Was on
while
fire.
with reception yardage. Joey Porter Jr. again in that game against the Rams gave up to Puka Nakua one catch on 4 attempts. There was 4 attempts to Nakua, and he caught one for 22 yards and 0 touchdowns. Okay, this was their number one guy coming in. This guy was putting up mad numbers. Let me continue. Devontae Adams, of course, one catch for three or one attempt for 3 catches and 12 yards.
Ooh.
Yeah, 0 touchdowns for Devontae Adams. Kelvin Ridley, 2 catches on 4 attempts for 20 yards, 0 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins, 1 catch on 5 attempts for 17 yards, 0 touchdowns. And arguably one of the best receivers in the league, of course, without his Joe Burrows, which you're going to get. But listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, 2 catches on 2 attempts for 36 yards, no touchdowns. I think we
Ooh.
found our guy, Mike.
Yeah, we did. He is locking people down. And one thing I noticed with him is he will get that early pass interference or holding penalty, and then after that, isn't flagged again.
I mean, he's shutting
Like
these
he'll,
guys down
yeah,
completely.
he
Like
is.
these
Like
are
he'll,
number one receivers.
yeah, like legit number one receivers, and I'm loving it. He's yeah, we found our guy. Now we just need to find someone alongside him.
Yeah.
And I think we're finding that safety depth too. So we got Minka, Trenton Thompson looking like he can be a potential starter. Because he's doing all right when he's healthy. Same thing with Neil. So he's get another corner opposite Joey Porter going into the future. That's going to be a pretty decent secondary.
I
And
really,
Porter is just a beast,
really
man.
wish, Mike, that we would got a chance to see Corey Trice Jr. He,
Yeah.
of course,
Oh.
was our later pick in the
Mm-hmm.
draft. A lot of people went on
Porter
and on in the
clone.
offseason about how good this guy was, this cornerback. He got injured, but apparently, if I remember what Mike had told me, that's why he dropped so far in the
Yeah,
draft
he was
because he
injury
has
prone. Yeah.
injury issues and he can't stay on the field, which is it's that stinks because there was a lot of good word about him.
Yeah.
Built like Joey Porter, like kind of one of these tall, stretched out cornerbacks that they cover more ground than they should because they're just so
Yeah.
long. I really wish we would have got to take a look at him. I mean, I don't think we even got to see him at all.
No, it was
In
like right
preseason.
before the first, like in training camp. That's when he tore the knee. It was before any of the games
I would have
started.
loved to seen him, man.
Yeah, and that's like, guys like him, that's why they fall to the seventh round. That's why they're available late in the draft is you roll the dice on him. If he's able to stay healthy, you could get someone who's probably like a second, third round pick.
Man, these guys
Yeah.
the guys these guys it's unfortunate because you got these guys that have all the the
All the
future
talent in
ahead
the
of them
world, and
and they're just injury prone. It's
yeah,
what is it about their what makes one injury prone?
it just happens, man. It's not like, oh, they should be working out more. It's their body, man. Their ligaments just don't want to stay where they should be.
Imagine being that guy, being so
That would
good, getting
suck.
that close, getting drafted in the NFL,
Yep.
and you're just an injury prone guy, and it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
After your whole life of playing football, that would be a terrible, terrible,
Yeah.
terrible thing to find out, man.
Hopefully, he can bounce back from this.
I just wish it wouldn't have happened so early. That
Yeah.
really cuts down your hope is the fact that it happened right off the top. I mean,
Yeah.
let's say he made it to this point in the season and took that injury and was out the rest of the way. I would be more willing to, to believe in him if that was the case.
Because
the fact that it happened right out the cut and the guy barely even played.
Yeah, it's
and
gonna
there
be
he is
like
already season-ending injuries.
Yeah, he's gonna be like I don't know if you remember him, but Senquez Golston. He
Yeah.
was a second round corner who kept getting hurt and hurt and hurt, and all you kept hearing about about him from like Kevin Colbert and the coaches was the potential, but injured, and eventually you just have to cut your losses. And then next thing you know, the guy's out the league. The good thing is that if it happened in the preseason, so he'll be ready to go, hit the ground running. He's already had part of the training campaign and he knows what to expect. He should be hopefully ready to just jump on the moving train at the beginning of training camp.
It's going to be interesting to see what we do with the defensive backfield this offseason.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, with some of the injuries that we faced, again, with some of the things that's going on, you're going to want to, as you said, you're going to want to upgrade that other cornerback to, get yourself a nice set of corners. Neil and KZ they're doing good, but
if you can upgrade the safety position as well,
right? You want to get Minka back, of course, have him playing, and then also, so it's going to be interesting to see what we do in the defensive backfield. I don't think we're going to go high. We'll probably start looking, third, fourth, fifth round if we're even going to start. If we're going to entertain the fact in the draft, but they're going to be looking around this offseason.
Ike Taylor was a 4th round pick.
Yeah, right. Imagine if he was higher, he might have had hands. You know what I mean? We got the guy with nubs in the 4th round. That's what you get when
he gave his hands to Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, yes, he did. That's what you get when you. That's what you get when you draft a DB 4th round and down. They have no hands. They have nubs.
Ryan, though, you did have the great description of Deontay Johnson.
What was that?
Great speed, great route running, hands of Ike Taylor.
Ike Taylor. He does.
Ike Taylor. Yeah. Then I was like, you know what? He has the heart of Rocky. And you're like, yeah, he does. And then the fumble play happens.
Yeah. Oh.
It was the perfect timing. We're like, you know what? This guy doesn't quit. You never see him quit. The game where he was dragged off the field 3 times, he's out there going. Then that shit happens, and everyone forgets about.
I wish I wouldn't have seen that video. I'm just gonna put. I'm not. I don't want to go.
Putting it out of my mind. I watched it go. Didn't happen. I just
because everybody is going on. So I'm not gonna do it. But gee, I wish I would have never seen it. I'm gonna be honest. But that really takes away a lot of.
That's like that one video. But then you have his entire stretch of him, putting his body on the line for the team. But him and Dan Moore get all the blame on offense. On defense, it's all Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace get all the blame. It just happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see Peterson make a couple big plays. I know.
I think though Peterson he's settled into that.
Solid.
He's settled into his role now. He doesn't have to be the guy.
Right. I hate Mike. I hate the PFF. You know this.
However, it's great now, baby.
However, our hypocrisy knows no boundaries.
Exactly.
The PFF we're going to talk about today because it's a good thing for the Steelers. On the PFF, Mike, top five top Steelers this week in their grades, according to the PFF. Pat Freiermuth rounds out the top with 93.5 on the PFF grading scale.
Greatest grading scale ever, baby.
This is fantastic. We love it. TJ Watt 90.7.
Hey, they know how to grade TJ Watt.
And I didn't dare go over to see with Cleveland what they graded Myles Garrett, but we'll get back to him.
Myles Garrett had 175 for being 2 tackles. Come on,
he won the Super Bowl. Trenton Thompson 90.1, KP 89, and Najee Harris 77.5. The PFF is good.
PFF is good, baby. I like it.
As we were talking about, Myles Garrett for just a moment. Myles Garrett, however, was spotted with a sling on his arm.
Yeah.
When asked about it, he said there was a pop in his shoulder, something that he's going to want to keep an eye on. So
there's a pop in my shoulder. I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I know. I got a hang on watching it all day. I can't take my eyes off it.
As much as I shit on him, my God.
Yeah.
Like, I read one of the quotes from him during that game. He was like, if my arm was falling off, I'd still want to be out there. And it felt like it was falling off. This is a guy I would love to have on my team, but he's not on my team, so F him.
Right. Well, I'm prepared, Mike, to give you some numbers here because it is Tuesday, and we are talking about Myles Garrett, and we are talking about the king of PFF, apparently, Myles Garrett.
Oh yeah.
Let me compare his numbers because he's so much greater than TJ.
So much
Watt.
greater.
Here we go. Solo tackles this season. Myles Garrett 24. He has 24 solo tackles. TJ Watt has 31. Myles Garrett has 13 sacks this season. TJ Watt has 13 and a half. The only thing that he's slightly ahead of TJ Watt is in this next number, Mike. Forced fumbles. Myles Garrett has forced 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Watt has forced 3 of them. ever on the
Yep.
back end of that. Fumble
Mhm.
returns. Miles Garrett or fumble recovery. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Miles Garrett has 1. TJ Watt has 3.
Yep.
Interceptions. Miles Garrett 0. TJ Watt 1. Um, 1 interception for or fumble recovery for touchdowns. Miles Garrett has none. TJ Watt has 1. Tackle for losses, Miles Garrett 12, TJ Watt also 12. And then finally, QB hits, Miles Garrett 23, TJ Watt 25. So,
The numbers clearly show that Miles Garrett is better.
yeah,
I don't know what you Pittsburgh fans see. The numbers don't lie.
right. I mean,
When you use new math and you subject reality and substitute your own, Miles Garrett is better.
the thing is, you go with these PFFs and you go with what you see on the internet. You would think that not only is Miles Garrett better, that Miles Garrett is head and shoulders better than TJ
Yeah.
Watt. You think to yourself, okay, well, let me see what I'm missing. Now, don't get me wrong, this guy brings it. When you watch Miles Garrett,
Yeah.
and the Miles Garrett that I seen play 2 weeks ago, he was impressive. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. But pound for pound, when you put numbers down and you
Mhm.
look at them, these are going to be what people know you as. These are going to be what people remember 100 years from now when you're dead and gone. These are the numbers. And guess what these numbers say? These numbers say that TJ Watt are better.
He is better. And I love how people say, well, Miles Garrett gets double, triple teamed and held. So does TJ Watt.
Yeah. I've seen shots where he's getting quadruple teamed and held.
So does every defensive end
Right.
and every outside linebacker. They all get held. They all get double teamed, triple
I'm
teamed.
sure Daniil gets held too.
Yeah. And he's putting up better numbers.
He's a beast. I seen him last night playing against the Bears. He's just
Uh-huh.
he's a monster of a man.
He is.
I seen him walking on the sidelines. I thought, holy shit. I would not mess with this guy.
No.
Under any circumstances.
No, I wouldn't even ask for an autograph. Probably like the nicest guy off the field. He's like, no, he's
You want
he
my
looking
lunch
at
money
me.
here?
He looks at me. He's like, oh, there's some out of shape old offensive lineman. I'm just gonna go over there and whoop his ass.
You want Mike's lunch money too? Here.
But the thing that sucks though, man, it's like TJ Watt, Miles Garrett. I would like to have them both on my team.
Absolutely. If he listen, if it wasn't what it was, if he wasn't a Brown, if everybody wasn't constantly making these comparisons saying he's better than our guy, I would like him. It's just there's a handful of things that makes me not like him.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to go on about it, but I mean, the guy smashed our quarterback over the head with a helmet. I mean, come on. Yeah, there's just things that naturally happen that just naturally make you dislike your opponents.
Yeah. That's right there. And if he played for like the
Houston.
Bills or Houston,
yeah,
I love him. Yeah, this guy
would
be great. I was like, oh, he's an amazing player.
No, look how much we don't have a problem with the Boses. I have no problem with the Boses. Look how much we don't have a problem with Max Crosby. No. I think he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, or Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
My God,
I go on and on about this Max Crosby, how good he is in his numbers.
He's a beast. Look at his tackle and sack numbers. They're combined.
His numbers. Yeah.
Combined, he's having a better season than TJ Watt and Miles Garrett.
Yeah, he really is. It's wild, man. He is something amazing out there. Las Vegas, they have 1 or 2 guys. You gotta give that to the Vegas Raiders. They do have a couple guys, but at the end of the day, they're the Raiders.
They're the Raiders. F them.
F the Raiders. Mike, we're going to drop to college just for a moment. Pitt cornerback Marquise Williams, the guy opposite MJ Devonshire, he announced he is declaring for the draft. So 2024 draft, keep an eye open for Marquise Williams. He's been really good, him and MJ, over the past few seasons. Yeah. Congratulations and good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Also, on the high school gridiron, this weekend, Mike, I mentioned yesterday about these local teams here in Western Pennsylvania. A lot of people know about the Aliquippa Quips, of course, the home to the most Hall of Famers in the NFL. We're talking about Ty Law. We're talking about Darrelle Revis. We're talking about Mike Ditka. And you could even kind of sort of include Tony Dorsett. However, he lived in the area code. He went to the neighboring school. So do what you will with that. But the Aliquippa Quips are coming in with a 12-0 record. They're playing Selins Grove on Friday at Central Cambria High School. That game's at 7 p.m. And the other team, of course, Beaver Falls, who the legend of the New York Jets, the guy that predicted Super Bowl III, guaranteed victory in Super Bowl III over the heavily favored Baltimore Colts, the high school and hometown of Joe Namath. Now get this, they're playing against Westinghouse. Yes, Mike, you heard me right. Westinghouse. That is a city league school here in Pittsburgh. They are
Wow.
from there's the Whippeal, and then there's
Yeah.
a city league. Once you get into the playoffs to a certain point, you
Yeah.
then those teams could play one another. Beaver Falls versus City League School Westinghouse. This game is at West Allegheny, 7 p.m. on Friday as well. Both games going on at the same time. Very interesting matchup, I think, with this Beaver Falls Westinghouse game.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if Beaver Falls is going to be able to keep holding up. The closer you get to state gold, they win this. Either one of these two teams win, like they are in the state championship game. That would be next week. So Aliquippa plays Selins Grove on Friday at Central Cambria, 7 p.m. Beaver Falls versus Westinghouse at West Allegheny on
Let's
Friday
go.
at 7 p.m.
Let's
Very
go.
interesting. Beaver
Yeah.
Falls is at a number 10 seed in the Whippeal, and they managed to get this far.
I hope they make it.
Good luck. I do
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That would be great to
One
see
that
these.
they're literally just right down the road from here at the studio.
Yeah,
And two, being that 10 seed, man, that would be awesome. In
absolutely.
Aliquippa, if you don't root for Aliquippa, you're either one of their rivals or you just
You're a
don't like
butthole.
your butthole. This team gets shafted by the state every year. Just because they're too good, they get punished.
Say it. Bring it, Mike.
It's the truth. The small ass school with like 40 kids, they have to play these teams that had like 70, 80 guys on the roster. Get the F out of here. They're going up against private schools for championships every year.
Yeah, of course they beat the Port last week. They beat McKeesport, the town that Mike was born in, apparently.
I was born. I grew up in McKeesport for a day.
And
So my parents did not trust the hospitals in Ohio. They drove back to PA to have.
so they went to McKeesport.
They went to McKeesport. Hey, hell yeah. That's where everyone else in my family was born. Just go to McKeesport, baby. Hey, what up, P?
Hey, P, what up, brother? Yeah.
Hey, in that game,
He's got post.
that helmet came off. Broderick goes over to Miles like, I don't think anyone should have this helmet. Is you?
What is it? Like, the PDST or whatever. That's what
PSTD.
That's why you never see Mason Rudolph on a sideline with his helmet on. He has not yet touched a helmet since that day.
You think he'd be like Jalen Warren and always have his helmet on just in case?
All you see is his lumpy ass head standing back here.
Yeah. I just want Mason's last game against the Browns as a Pittsburgh Steeler for him to come out swinging double fisted helmets, running over to the Browns sideline,
beating up old Miles Garrett.
Yeah. And then Miles, he finishes out his time in Cleveland and then comes to the Steelers.
Yeah. And then we love him. Everyone will love him.
He would be like Darius Kasparaitis back in the day. We hated him when he was a New York Islander. The minute he became a Penguin.
Oh, Casper was one of my favorite.
He was misunderstood, guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sucker. Also Pittsburgh Penguins tonight, Mike. 10-10. The Pittsburgh Penguins going against the 10-10 Nashville.
Something has to give.
Predators. Something has got to give. 10-10, 10-10 in Nashville, 8:00 p.m. Penguins back in action, Mike, after splitting over the weekend, getting a win, getting a loss over the weekend. Mike, do you think Pittsburgh is going to, just off top of your head, the prediction, Penguins, Nashville tonight? What do you think?
I am taking the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think we're going to win this one.
Power play's got to come along.
Oh, hey.
Well, there ain't no way you got them guys. You got Sidney Crosby, Malkin.
Hey, they only have 4 future Hall of Famers out there. Why would you expect them to be able to produce on the power play?
You have an all-star team, basically, is your power play. That's one thing it's got to be rubbing them, especially the coaches, the wrong way, because geez, if you have an all-star team that's doing nothing besides what do you call it, umbrella and the puck around the end zone, they got to do something. You have an all-star team.
Yeah,
think of that. Go back and
something has to give. This grip it and rip it at this point. If it's I know they want the shooting angle there, blah blah blah. But you shoot it.
The shooting angle mean nothing if you don't ever get the shot.
Hey, you never know. Deflection goes in, man. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be pretty.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this way.
No, it doesn't.
Mike, the results are in. I waited as long as I could for Derby. I just can't wait anymore. I tried. Yeah, I tried.
I know you tried.
The results are in. It's both overshot on the tiebreaker. You had 41 points with a 24-17 pick. Derpy had 30 points with a 17-13 pick. The tiebreaker this week in the Steeler game was 26 points off of a 16-10 win. And the final tally, Mike, the final tally, Derpy had 12 and you had 8. Derpy, you missed an opportunity to take this in, and I believe that's 2 in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's 2 and 3, man.
He's not handling this very well. He should be here in your shit and giving you shit and
I
laughing,
know.
making fun.
I know. Normally he
And
does, but
Lions,
I think he's afraid I'm going to give it back to him.
the Lions screwed you.
Oh yeah.
The Colts beating the Buccaneers screwed both you guys.
The Panthers screwed me.
The Panthers screwed you. The Bears beating the Vikings. He's both lost that. You took the Chargers. He took the Ravens. I don't know why you took the Chargers.
Home cooking, man.
You took the Browns. He took the Broncos.
Who saw that coming?
I know. I sure didn't. But that is the difference, Mike. So you got some catching up, man. These past, I think, 2 out of the past 3 weeks. So
yeah.
See, now it's fun and
it's
competitive.
Fun. It's
and
competitive.
Where the hell is he at? Where are you at, Derby? Come on.
Killing me, Smalls. Killing me.
Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The Dumyinzers.com. The number 2 DUMYINZRS.com. All of our socials are over there. The merch store's over there. Blogs over there. I just put a new one up today. Check it out at the2dumyinzers.com.
Derpy.
So we'll have to let him know tomorrow, I guess. I don't get him. I don't get this guy.
He marches to the beat of his own drummer.
Yeah, he does.
He could be watching the Mike Tomlin press conference, so
He could be. He'll be texting me all about it when the show's over.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mike. Trivia time. Trivia question of the day. We do play the Arizona Cardinals this week, so these are going to be Arizona Cardinal questions this week. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, play on the board at home. Here we go. The question of the day. The Arizona Cardinals were originally founded as I'm looking for a name, a city, a name, whatever they would have originally been known as is what I'm looking for. The question is, the Arizona Cardinals were originally founded as the blank. I'm going to give you opportunity to think that over. If you would like choices, I can certainly do that for you. But you don't have to. It's up to you. But we're live, everybody, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right here every day from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Check us out if you miss us or you just would rather listen to it on podcast. If you're at the gym, maybe in the car, you just want to listen to the show. We put the brand new show that we do live every day up on Spotify at 8 p.m. Go check it out. All right, guys. The question of the day is this: the Arizona Cardinals were originally known as the blank. Again, I'm looking for a full name, city, team, the whole deal. Mike, do you want to take a stab at it, or do you want to listen to the choices first?
I'm going to go St. Louis Cardinals.
The St. Louis Cardinals. Is this your final answer?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to lock Mike in on the St. Louis Cardinals. P on the board. He said he'd like choices, so I'm going to give you the choices. Mike, you're already locked in.
I'm
looking for what the Arizona Cardinals were originally founded as. A, the St. Louis Cardinals. B, the Chicago Bulldogs. C, the Morgan Athletic Club. Or D, the Pottsville Maroons. Again, I'm looking for the original name of the Arizona Cardinals. A, the St. Louis Cardinals. B, the Chicago Bulldogs. C, the Morgan Athletic Club. Or D, the Pottsville Maroons. I'll give you a moment here for P on the board. But those are your choices. Mike had already selected, before we gave choices, the St. Louis Cardinals. So he's locked in. I'll give P just a moment. But as I do want to mention again, Mike, you did win the picks this week. Or I mean, Derpy, you won the picks this week. If you're listening or watching, congratulations. But get your ass back here because we have to. You got to rub it in Mike's face. That's why you play. That's why you participate. He needed to get back into it so he could rub it in your face a little bit to even it up. But no, where's he at?
I know we need.
What could Derby be doing right now? Is what I want to know.
I don't know.
All right. P on the board says I'll go with Mike. change time zones to stay sucky. That's not a
That is.
bad pick. So P
Mhm.
on the board. On the board, our collective answer is the Arizona Cardinals. They are locked in. Question of the day, guys. The Arizona Cardinals were originally founded as the blank. A, the Arizona Cardinals. B, the Chicago Bulldogs. C, the Morgan Athletic Club. D, the Pottsville Maroons. Everybody says the St. Louis Cardinals. However, in 1898, when founded, they were the Morgan Athletic Club.
Wow.
The Morgan Athletic Club as of 1898.
Jesus.
So there
Did
you
not
have it,
see that
guys.
coming.
I wouldn't have guessed that. That doesn't even
No,
sound like a
me
football.
either.
It sounds like something British or some shit. Which it might have been, I guess, right?
All right. It sounds like, like
I
a
don't know.
like a
Brit.
like a soccer club.
I doubt it. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm sure that's a possibility.
Oh, Jesus God. I just saw the comment.
Mm. Seeing the comments fine. Seeing the picture in your head is the killer.
Oh,
But yes, you're right. He's a free spirit.
he is a free
That
spirit,
Derby.
man.
Um, Mike, anything for you ready to take off?
Looks like Minka Fitzpatrick will be back this week.
Oh, that's great.
Kenny Pickett and Calvin Austin have some minor ankle injuries.
Okay, that's all right.
And that's about all I got.
All right,
From Twitter.
There you have it, guys. I do want to say thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. I'm not going to even pay attention to what P just said because I caught it with the corner of my eye. And if I read it again, if you're on the board watching the show, have at it. But I don't want to throw open my mouth on the air, so I'm not going to look again. But again, we do thank everybody for checking us out. Mike, anything else, man?
Oh, I'm gonna go bleach my eyes.
Hall of Fame semifinalist Hines Ward, James Harrison. We'll talk more about that.
Yes.
But speak now or forever hold your peace, man.
I got nothing, man. I'm just gonna go wash that image out of my mind.
I'm gonna go blow my brains out now. But hey, thanks everybody. We do appreciate it. For the two Dum Yinzers, Mike, myself.